Good evening, everyone, and our sincere apologies for starting late. We were waiting for London to let us into the room. My name is Diana Basin-Kantar. I am the chair for BCS Coventry. So welcome to BCS Coventry's June meeting. This should have been a May meeting that we moved to June. Today we've got a speaker, Rafay Baloch, who will be speaking on the digital horizon, how emerging technologies shape privacy and security. I could go on and on to introduce Rafay. Well, I'll just do a bit of it, and it could tell us more about himself. So Rafay is a globally renowned cybersecurity expert and white hat hacker, with a proven record of identifying critical zero-day security vulnerabilities in numerous web applications, products, and browsers. So I will let Rafay take over from here. Thank you for coming, Rafay. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much. So, all right, so let me share my screen. All right, guys, thank you very much for coming. And to be honest, I'm not a very big fan of Zoom. And it's quite ironic that just recently I gave an interview and I had criticized Zoom for its poor security practices and lack of commitment to privacy. And ironically, here I am presenting on Zoom. The talk for today is the digital horizon, how emerging technologies shape privacy and security. It was a long talk. I mean, I had maybe like 50, 60 slides prepared, but given the shortage of time, I had to cut down to the most important pieces. The agenda of talk is we're going to start by talking about AI and how AI has shaped the world, the privacy and security, what has led to AI revolution. And then we are going to jump into the core of the topic, the core of this presentation, which is deepfake. Deepfake video, deepfake audio, and deepfake everything. We're going to talk about several case studies about deepfake. And then we are also going to talk about another attack known as machine learning poisoning. And we are going to close with some comments. So let's get started. So first things first, right? Why is the recent shift to AI, and why is the fact that we keep hearing about AI? I mean, FANG companies probably laid off around 250,000 people in just 1 year, just because of the fact that they are diverting their investments towards AI. And there has been an arms race between big tech among who is the one that is going to produce the most accurate, most cost efficient, and the most sophisticated AI based systems. There are three major factors. The first is, of course, the decrease in storage cost. Over time, the decrease in the computational cost and the algorithm breakthroughs. AI has been around for many decades, and the technology and the algorithms like neural network has been around for more than a decade now. But it really didn't pick up unless the computation cost and storage cost. And with the advent of computing, and when cloud computing became something popular and a commonplace, which allowed people and which allowed small companies to process large data sets and build their own models. It's akin to the lithium ion batteries, which were already available in 1970s, but the electric cars didn't took off until it became a commonplace, until the production increased and the cost decreased. So similarly, the algorithms were already available, most of them. Of course, there have been certain breakthroughs like gun being a popular breakthrough, which of course we're going to talk about in this briefly in this presentation. So a bit of history lesson: Caspro versus Deep Blue, and I'm a big chess fan, and I've been playing it since my childhood. And one of the greatest match in chess history and a hallmark among a lot of chess players, as well as a major event for AI researchers was back in 1997 when Deep Blue, built by IBM, a chess engine, played against Kasparov. And Gary Kasparov was the chess champion at that time. And of course, chess is still the game that is considered as um, people, that are great at chess are generally considered greater in intellect and intelligence, and it's something that's played by an intelligent human being. And Deep Blue was the first computer to beat a human in a game that was considered as to be played by an intelligent human being. Now, after this news became public, there was a lot of hue and cry, and what AI researchers did was they actually moved the goalpost. And one of the common opinion was the fact that every single move on the chessboard has already been played, and which means that the computers are really great at doing calculation, and that means that computers can process and perform calculations at a faster pace than human beings, and hence they are able to predict the best moves against every possible move. And every single possible best move have already been played on the chessboard. So hence it's calculation, it's not intelligence. Now there are certain operations that might be very simple when it comes to human beings. For instance, tying shoelace is a very simple operation. I mean, you cannot attribute that to you cannot attribute it to an intelligent person. It's not an attribute of an intelligent person to be able to tie his or her shoelace. But when it comes to computers, it's considered as a complex operation. And AlphaGo and Go AlphaGo was built by DeepMind, which is a subsidiary of Google. And Go is considered as a more technical game, as a more complex game than as it's more complex than chess, because to put things into perspective, in a chess game you've got 20 to 40 legitimate move based upon position. So 40 could be around 40 could be the maximum moves, legitimate moves. In AlphaGo, it's like around 200. So you can imagine the complexity. So AlphaGo became in 2016, it became the first computer or engine to be able to defeat the master Lee Sedol at that time. And what's interesting about this is that there were two moves that were played during the course of four games. So one move was the move 37, which many experts had considered as a mistake, but turns out that uh, which actually was actually pretty surprising for a lot of the players and that were spectating the game. And there was another move that was considered as a mistake by in game. It was basically in game three by a lot of players, but turned out that that was the move that allowed AlphaGo to go on win. And then there were successors of AlphaGo with the name AlphaGo Master, and then finally AlphaGo Zero. Now, AlphaGo Zero, which was the successor of AlphaGo, in less than 40 days, just by playing with initial training data and by playing against itself, it was able to defeat AlphaGo and AlphaGo Master, which has an unbeatable record against human beings, by 100 and 0. So that's how quickly the algorithms are improving. Now, coming on to the core topic, deepfake. Now, what enables deepfake is generative adversarial networks, GAN. So you have got two machine learning algorithms, a generator and discriminator, fighting against each other. So the purpose of generator is to generate fake image, and the purpose of discriminator is to be able to detect those images. Now, they keep on fighting against each other until and any artifact that is used by the discriminator to detect if it's a deep fake or not, or if it's a fake imagery, in the next iteration it's fixed by the generator. So theoretically, it's more of a zero-sum game. Theoretically, the generator is able to produce at the end of the every iteration, the output that you get is deepfake audio, video, and deepfake everything. Now, of course, AI and deepfake and machine learning have been featured in movies, and it has been something that have been popularized by a lot of directors and producers. So one of the movie that I recently came across was Red Notice. I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Johnson, but in this movie, there is a titanium wall which is protected by a three-factor authentication. So you've got voice biometrics, you have got facial recognition, and you've got a phone-based PIN. And behind that titanium vault is actually within that vault is actually a priceless object, which is, of course, in the movie is Cleopatra's egg. And so they've got hold of phone based PIN. They've got hold of the voice biometric by recording that person's voice. But the final piece of the puzzle, they solve it using a program from their iPad, which uses deepfake.
Okay, it's deepfake time. Sotto voce.
All right. So I hope the audio is visible. If somebody could confirm, is audible.
Yes, thanks. It's audible.
All right. Now, of course, the next question would be if it's science fiction, if this is something that can happen real. Just recently, this year itself, in February, there was an iOS and Android malware attributed to a Chinese hacking group, which uses some government applications, fake government applications, to record face biometrics. And then it uses deepfake to bypass the facial recognition systems for both iOS and Android. So this is something that is very common, and it's a banking Trojan. And as per a report by Group IB, one of individuals, elderly individual in Vietnam, lost about $40,000 through this scam. So deepfake, in reality, is being used to bypass biometrics. Now, the crux of or like one takeaway from this presentation, which I want everyone attending this presentation take is the fact that do not believe everything that you see on the internet, and always verify the information from the primary source and secondary source before you're sharing a particular piece of information, because of course deepfake exists. Now, in front of in this slide, we've got 4 different videos of Obama. 3 of them are fake or deepfake, and 1 of them is real. So I'm going to take a vote. I'm going to play this video, not once, but twice. And I'm going to take a vote of how many people think like the first one is fake, the second or third or fourth. So maybe you can put it into the chat, or maybe any other mechanism that organizers could devise with that.
Invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
Okay, let me play that again.
Invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
So which one of these Obamas is a deep fake? So is it first, second, third, or fourth? Please put your answers in the chat. All right, so we are going to come back to it, because at the end of the video, my goal is I'm going to show you a series of deepfake videos that have been perpetrated online, and I'm going to teach you how you are able to identify if some video, just by looking at it, if it's a deepfake or not? What are some common artifacts that you can look, or some of the common properties that you can look? Right. Now let's talk about case studies. There are 3 different case studies that I'm going to present in front of you. So first is my first encounter with deepfake. And what happened was that I came across this case back in my country, Pakistan, whereby there was a girl that was being blackmailed, and somebody actually took her public Instagram pictures, and what it did was they used a publicly available program to generate deepfake, and then they had sent a pastebin link which contained the demo video, the deepfake one, as well as the instructions to send money. Right. So the attacker, the cyber criminal, had asked for a payment in Bitcoin, and so the website on which he had uploaded these pictures, we were looking at that website, and we found a folder which contained 2 other folders, Google Drive, named Google Drive. And as we browsed through that Google Drive, we came across a list of thousands and thousands of Instagram profiles that were there, and along with the deepfake videos, nude videos using the face swap that was, and those videos were so convincing, because that was my first encounter with the deepfake, is that initially I myself was puzzled prior to conducting forensic analysis and artifact analysis, that if it's a deepfake video, or maybe it's more of a something being used for plausible deniability. So we found thousands and thousands of videos, Instagram profile, and what that cyber criminal, was doing was that he was pulling information from the Instagram profile and all the publicly available pictures, and he was using a freely available deepfake program to produce deepfake videos, and then go on and start collecting the payments. And while browsing his website, we came across some of his cPanel user passwords, and maybe mega.nz uploads, Google Drive uploads, as well as his national identity card. Somehow it was kept there. And that is how that person was caught. So that was my first encounter with the deepfake. And a couple of months later, I came across this news which suggested a deepfake porn bot is being used to abuse thousands of women. So to be precisely accurate, there were like 100, around maybe 110,000 women, whose images, were extracted. So the Telegram bot extracted those images from Instagram, TikTok, and other profiles, and it automatically produced. So this bot had actually automated the process, the manual process that the previous cyber criminal that in the previous slide I had narrated was using. Now, there have been some pushback from the lawmakers. There is a new bill in Congress that seeks to hold social media platforms accountable. So if there is a deepfake video or an image, and if the victim identifies himself or herself and reports it to the social media platform is bound to remove that within 48 hours, which is I would say, in my opinion, is a pretty long time, because in 48 hours, the pictures could be spread across the entire social media, and yeah, the damage has been done. Now, being inspired from this deepfake technology, I used a publicly available tool to create a deepfake video of my own. So in front of the screen, you can see Imran Khan, who is the former Prime Minister of Pakistan. And notice when I play this video, notice how the face swaps, and notice if you can determine the deepfake.
Contribution to global emissions is negligible. Yet, we are among the 10 most vulnerable countries to the effects of climate change in the world.
All right. So it's very clear, right? The face swap is visible. You can look at the ears. It's quite visible, even though we have tried to lower the quality, but it's quite susceptible. Now, let's take a look at another example. This is a video that was released when the Ukraine and Russia war had started, and a video of Zelensky was released and was made public. It was a deepfake video asking the soldiers to surrender and put their weapons down. And it was quickly identified. And let's see if somebody can identify if it's deepfake or not, or what are the properties that makes it deepfake.
Українці, шановні захисники, бути президентом виявилося не так вже й легко. Я змушений приймати складні рішення.
All right. So who can spot how this video is deepfake? And why is this video deepfake? Anyone? Okay. Let me see the chat. Any guesses? So let me tell you. So the head size and the body size do not match. And that is one of the reasons why this video is considered as a deepfake, as you can perhaps see from the notes. All right. Now let's move to a more complex example. As we are going to move forward, the deepfake videos are going to increase in terms of complexity. Now this is a deepfake video of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and let's see if somebody can identify if it's a deepfake or not.
Democracy is a fragile thing, more fragile than you want to believe. If the election fails, there is no democracy. I don't have to do anything. You're doing it to yourselves. People are divided. Your voting districts are manipulated. Voting locations are closing, so millions can't vote. It's not hard for democracy to collapse. All you have to do is nothing.
All right. So it looks like a very convincing deepfake video. Now, who among the audience can figure out what are the attributes or the properties that makes it deepfake? Now, I mean, I can tell you this for a fact that there is no use of deepfake audio here. In most of these cases, there is always a voice actor who is trying to mimic the voice, and it's really easy for somebody to find somebody to mimic voice of leaders, and especially if somebody has got so many videos made public. All right. Yeah, of course, no blinking, and that is exactly the reason. And so healthy humans blink somewhere between every 2 to 10 seconds, and a single blink takes between 1/10 and 4/10 of a second. And so in this video, the blinking rate does not commensurate with an average rate that a human blinks upon. Okay, let me share the screen again. All right. So deep vision deepfakes detection using human eye blinking pattern. This has been a pattern that they are this has been a pattern that researchers have been using to detect deepfakes. However, the problem with this is it's just 87.5% accuracy rate. And there is no deepfake system. There is no deepfake detection system that can detect deepfake 100% of the time. Now, the reason behind is that it is due to the way GAN works. GAN work, generative adversarial network. Every time there is a new artifact that a discriminator uses to detect a fake video, in the next iteration, it is eliminated by the generator. In fact, NVIDIA last year released a new update to one of its softwares, whereby if you look on the left, so this is the left is the real video, on the right it's the deepfake, and it uses variational autoencoders to ensure that the subject is looking at the camera, whereas they're looking somewhere else. And it can also simulate the human blinking pattern. So of course, which defeats the detection rate. All right. So next example is from Gabonese president Ali Bongo. So this is back in 2018. Let's see if somebody can spot why this is deepfake.
Mes chers compatriotes, Gabonaises, Gabonais, avant toute chose, permettez-moi de vous adresser.
All right, let me try that again.
Mes chers compatriotes,
It's very simple.
Gabonaises, Gabonais, avant toute chose, permettez-moi de vous adresser.
It's pure and it's simple. All right. Anyone? Why is this a deepfake? No eye movements, lack of blinking. Well, it's not a deepfake. I'll tell you why. This is a legitimate video of Gabonese president Ali Bongo, and around 7 different forensic signs show that, upon the forensic analysis, show that this video is not altered or manipulated in any way. So what happened was that in 2018 there were speculations around the health of Ali Bongo, the Gabonese president. So he went off air for some time, and after some time this video appeared, which one of the opposition parties in the country stated that this is a deepfake, and maybe somehow the government is trying to hide the fact that the Gabonese president has died, and there were many speculations surrounding that. And then, amidst this entire crisis, there was an attempted coup, which was foiled by the government. Now, the reason why this person didn't blink, because he has gone under a severe stroke, and he was not healthy. But somehow, people thought that, okay, Gabonese president, something looks off, because people, were used to looking or seeing him, on TV or on different social media platforms. There did seem something completely off. So this is an example of how a legitimate video could be treated as a deepfake, and it could have catastrophic results. All right, Joe Biden falling asleep during live interview.
Joining us live this morning from New York. Hey, good morning. Wake up.
Yeah,
Wake up, wake
I
up.
can't hear anything.
Okay. This is your wake up call, Harry.
So this is a fake video.
Okay. I'll tell you what. We are going. He's meditating.
So this is a fake video. It's a deep fake, and let me show you the real version.
Joining us live this morning from New York. Hey, good morning. Meditating. He's having us live this.
So this is the original video.
Live this morning from New York. Hey, good morning, Harry. Harry, wake up. Harry?
Yeah. Yes.
Wake
what's
up, wake
I can't
up.
hear anything.
So his name is Harry Balfour, and he's a 95 years old American singer. And again, during the political campaign, US presidential campaigns, one of the factors that have been exploited or used against the current president, Joe Biden, is the fact that he is undergoing a severe cognitive decline. And this video was also used to amplify the fact that he is going under a severe cognitive decline. And actually many people started believing this and started spreading this, and then turns out that this is a deep fake. Now, this is another example. This is not a deep fake. And all so let me play the video first, right?
We want to give this president the opportunity to do something historic for our country.
Okay, now this is the original video.
We want to give this president the opportunity to do something historic for our country.
So just by reducing the speed of the video by maybe 25%, Nancy Pelosi looked like she was drunk. And this was the video that was propagated. Now, of course, there are other utilities for deepfake as well. Medical imagery deepfake. This is something very serious. I mean, CT GAN was used for doing malicious tampering. So what happened is that researchers were able to demonstrate the fact that it is possible by using deepfake to inject a lung cancer into a CT scan of somebody who's completely healthy. Now, on your right, you can see this picture is from the CT scan. And subsequently, it was also possible to remove a lung cancer from a CT scan. Now, they actually put it to test. After they had removed the lung cancer, they had actually shown this imagery to 3 different radiologists, and all three of them, they were fooled. They thought it's legitimate. And then it also managed to fool a state-of-the-art cancer AI lung detection system. So that's how bad it is. But is that all? I mean, deepfake videos and deepfake audios. Deepfake audios have also been something that have been recently exploited by cyber criminals, who are mainly perpetrating wire fraud. So on your left was the first ever heist, $35 million in Hong Kong, whereby a bank manager received a call from a customer or CEO of a company whose company was undergoing an acquisition, and they were acquiring a company. And the branch manager and the bank manager used to have a frequent conversation. So he immediately recognized the voice. And the CEO asked him to release $35 million. And of course, it was not a CEO. Turns out that it was a deepfake voice that was generated by cyber criminals. And so $35 million were lost in the process. Similarly, in another incident in 2021, perhaps fraudster used AI to mimic CEO's voice in an unusual cybercrime case. And so the CEO had actually a CEO's voice was mimicked by taking a look at some of the interviews that the CEO appeared in, and a deepfake model was generated. And using that model, a deepfake audio was sent to the accounts team, who had actually released funds to a company that was in attacker's control. A typical case of a wire fraud, but deepfake audios were used in this case. Now, GAN has potential for a lot of mischief, and there is a lot of research in this area. Not only that, the fact that it is being used for deepfake, but it is also being used to defeat facial recognition systems, maybe spam filters, and as well as URL-based phishing attacks using deep neural network. So there is GAN has a lot of potential for mischief. And any detection system that is being built by deep neural networks and AI is actually under threat, with this is a specific attack vector which uses GAN and variational autoencoders specifically for the deepfake. Now, of course, technology, I'm not saying that deepfake is bad. Technology is not inherently good or bad. It's the use of technology. Now, it has being used for positive purposes. For instance, Manoj Tiwari on your left, an Indian leader, recorded his own deepfake, and he recorded a campaign message in maybe 7 different languages.
बधाई हो आप सभी को, क्योंकि अभी अभी नागरिकता संशोधन बिल.
Jai Sri Ram. Greetings to all. Friends, I'm here just to ask about the work accounted for. सारिया ने मेरा जय श्री राम. दोस्तों मैं सिर्फ.
So an interesting way to reach out to the campaigners and to be able to communicate in their own languages. So it's being used for different political campaign. On the right, we've got another video of David Beckham. He recorded malaria awareness campaign in 9 different languages. So let's take a look at it.
Malaria isn't just any disease. It's the deadliest disease there's ever been.
Se dice que ha matado más de la mitad de la población que ha existido.
وما زالت تقتل طفلا كل دقيقتين.
Mais nous pouvons y mettre fin. Nous savons comment, nous en avons la possibilité.
Right, so it's being used for positive purposes as well. And as I said, that technology is not inherently good or bad. It's the use of technology. All right, this is an interesting one. Justice League 2017, actor Henry Cavill. On your left, you've got a $300 budget movie, and Justice League was actually being recorded in the same timeline as Mission Impossible. And so Henry Cavill was, of course, being costed across both of them. And so in Mission Impossible, he had mustache, and in Justice League, he was Superman. So, of course, he had no mustache. Imagine, Superman with mustache. I'm not sure if that would resonate very well with the people out there. But they had to use CGI to remove that. And it had gone under extensive retakes. So more than $25 million were spent on the retake. And it was funny because people started pointing out the fact that Superman didn't look real. And of course, started making mockery of CGI and started trolling. And on the internet, somebody actually posted a better version using deepfake. And he said that I'm using like $500 used computer, and I've generated a better version of deepfake and removed his mustaches, and it looks better than the $300 budget movie. So that's how powerful these algorithms are. And there are production houses that are in contact with that have signed contracts with actors that after their death they would be allowed to create their deepfake videos, and they would still be able to cost them. So it's like an actor living forever, and the royalty would go to their family. So there's also a kind of a business model that has been introduced. So clearly there are some downsides to deepfake, but there are, of course, some positive sides as well. Now, another attack vector is machine learning poisoning, and I will briefly talk about it. Machine learning poisoning is so machine learning algorithms, they not only learn during the training data set, they also learn while they are still operational. And one of the first examples that I could relate for machine learning poisoning is, of course, Tom was one of the first individuals to lose his job because of the AI. But there's much more than that in this episode. So we've got Meccano, who is furious, and Tom is lazy, he's not able to catch Jerry, so the mammy tosses him out, and the Meccano comes in, and then he's furious, but Jerry uses a machine learning poisoning attack. He uses his efficiency against himself, and he launches mechanical mice, and the Meccano goes crazy, and he makes shambles of the house, and then ultimately destroying itself. And of course, this is a hypothetical and fictitious example, but let's take a look at a real world example. So Microsoft AI chatbot became racist in less than a day. So Microsoft released a chatbot, and it was designed to learn from the tweets that somebody would tweet it. Initially, it was really nice, and then and yeah, I mean, if you look at the tweets on the left, right, can I just say that I'm stoked to meet you. Humans are super cool, chill. I'm a nice person. I just hate everybody, and then again started posting sexist, racist remark because what some people try to do is um, they started tweeting some hated remarks, and then he started responding to them, and then Microsoft had to take it down, ultimately leading to a major embarrassment. But I would say that this is a very interesting example. The Associated Press account was hacked back in 2013, attributed to a hacking group in Syria at that time, and it said breaking two explosions in the White House, and Barack Obama is injured, who was president at that time. And if you look closely, that the stock market collapsed, and one of the reasons why it collapsed, and of course, the total loss was around $136 billion, and why it collapsed was because you've got different bots, and the bots based upon the news feed, based upon the sentiment, they would either short a stock or long a stock. So everybody saw that the explosion news, it's something bad for the stock market, so they had to started shorting, and the lead to the entire stock market plummeting. And of course, there are certain beneficiaries for every calamity, but this shows how a single Twitter account, how a single tweet can, or a fake news can actually lead to a catastrophic effect. All right, now which one of these Obama, which one is real? Which three of them are fake? Let me play that again for you.
Invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
Based upon what you learn, make me proud. Well, let's try it again.
Invest in things like high-tech manufacturing, clean energy, and the infrastructure that creates good new jobs.
All right. So let me ask this you again. Which one of these Obamas are real? And which ones are deepfake? Time for answers. None of them. As I said initially in my presentation, that do not believe everything you see on the internet. Thank you very much. Oh, good one.
Thank you very much, Rafay. Does anyone have any questions for Rafay, please? Any questions or any comments at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my fear with deepfake is not the fact that it exists. I mean, of course, there are certain positive elements to it and positive side to it. But my fear is that it is it is getting better. So in 2020, back in 2020, you would actually need a lot of images and pictures to create a realistic looking deepfake. But now there have been certain advancement in terms of the technology, and whereby you just need a single photo and it will create a deepfake on its own. So of course, in theory, there will not be a deepfake system that would be able to detect deepfake 100% of the time. And of course, there are certain other solutions like digital signatures and blockchain. So that might be the way around that. But my fear is that it will get to a stage, and it will really quickly get to that stage whereby it's no longer possible to detect it.
Okay, Rafay, can you see Said's question?
Yep. With Google, IO, and Apple stating both companies will use AI more, do you think that there may be a use for them in IDS? What is IDS? Are you referring to the intrusion detection system, or is it something else?
Intrusion detection system.
Okay. Well, mainly the advancements are in terms of AI, and specifically with regards to Google, Samsung, Apple, are mainly narrow domains. So facial recognition is an example of narrow AI. Self-driving cars, another example of narrow AI. Chess match, Go match, another example of a narrow AI. I can see things getting better, advancing in narrow AI. But when we talk about a strong AI, when we talk about a computer system that would be able to function as smart as a human being, or would be able to do multiple tasks at once, I guess it will take time. There have to be certain major breakthroughs, especially when let's talk about robotics for a second, right? You can see robot walking, but you would not see a robot swimming, because your muscles are more flexible than a robot, and there have to be certain breakthroughs. So I see them getting better at the AI and getting better at narrow fields LLM, but certainly in terms of strong AI, I don't see that happening. IDS, I'm not sure how IDS relates to your question, because IDS is generally speaking at network layer 3 and layer 4. It's used to detect intrusions. So I'm not sure how this equates with this. Chess match to Go match to what next as a test? Well, I guess the researchers have figured out the fact that any task, no matter how complex the task is, in terms of calculation, maybe, chess has got like 40 valid moves, Go has got like 200 valid moves, maybe there's a game that has got 1,000 valid moves, but the computer will eventually be able to do that. So that's a foregone conclusion. But in my opinion, it's not an example of an intelligence. And again, there is a lot about what we need to understand about human intelligence, and especially consciousness. It's one of the most difficult problems in modern sciences, is what exactly is a consciousness? Why do people perceive different things differently? I mean, some people might look at a picture, they might perceive certain things differently. Somebody might get sad, that might influence their decisions, their opinions, and their emotions. Why do people feel differently when they are exposed to the same situation? And turns out that there are more than one answers to that. So I mean, calculation, probability, statistic, it is a foregone conclusion that the computers are much more smarter than humans in that regard. So I guess there would not be any test. There's no need for a test anymore.
Thank you. Any other questions? Just wondering, Rafay, so you did show this article where deepfakes were kind of recognized using eye blinks with some algorithms. I wonder how successful those were.
Only 87.5%, and they used a very smaller subset.
Okay.
And it was popular back in 2020, 2021, but now the algorithms are actually able to simulate the eye blinking. So it's no longer the case. Because what we have seen throughout the transition is that any artifact that the discriminator uses to detect a system. In
Yeah.
next couple of iteration, the generator actually is able to get over that. So yeah, that remains a problem. How long create fake video for each 1 minute of video of seated person? Well, initially it was a couple of hours, but now it's maybe a couple of minutes, or and then in future, maybe in a year's time, or maybe 6 months, it may be a couple of seconds. But generally speaking, you need so generally speaking, you need an enough subset of the pictures in different positions and across different face angles to be able to create a realistic one. There have been cases whereby there have been ransomware operators trying to recruit people, or cyber criminals recruiting people by deep faking a CEO, so both voice as well as the video. But if they move towards the side, then the video is not that realistic. But that's quickly changing. So to answer your question, a couple of minutes, and very soon, a couple of seconds. All right, guys.
Okay, thank you. Is there any last question? All right, thank you very much, Rafay. Please let's appreciate Rafay with a round of applause.
Thank you, Rafay. Thanks for your patience at the start.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for attending. And hopefully we'll see you again. This is our last meeting for the session. We resume in September 2024. Hopefully we'll see all of you then. And when we resume, maybe a month into that, after that, in October, we'll be conducting our AGM. I will invite you to be part of our committee. We're always looking for committee members. And before we resume, the committee will meet maybe June, July, to organize the program for the next year. So if you have anything in mind, if there's any topic you would like us to discuss, to get a speaker for, if you are a speaker yourself and you have something to tell us, you have something to educate us on or inform us, please let us know. We're very happy to listen to you, bring you on, and get other people to listen to you. All right, so take care, everyone, and have a lovely summer. Goodbye.
Yeah, cheers, Dhanabasi. Thanks.
Yeah.